I see Netflix like the entertainment industry at a crossroads of what we were and what we are and what we're going to be. So, we've been in the press a lot lately because of the notion of separating DVD by mail and streaming, when in fact Netflix is a global streaming video brand. And our DVD by the mail business, while very important to us and our customers love it, it's a US only business. So the intent of separating the two was to be able to keep running and nurturing this DVD business that people love without the brand distraction that would keep us defined as to our domestic strategy. So Netflix, when you talk about Netflix around the world to a consumer, they'll know what kind of business it is. So it offers us the ability to have some marketing shorthand with our consumers, and we think it's some short-term pain around the uncertainty of how it will all come together, and as people get a better understanding of how it will all come together, I think they'll be much more comforted by that. The other thing is that we're doing this rapid international expansion. So a couple of weeks ago we launched in 43 countries across Latin America over a period of 10 days, and prior to that we did Canada just under a year ago, and we have more ambitious plans for Europe and other territories around the world. And so what we have to figure out is, like we did in the US, is how do you rethink the distribution paradigms that prevent you from building the product that people want. And there's a lot of legacy deals that have to be overcome, and there's a lot of legacy barriers, and we're trying to overcome the real ones and the perceived ones. There's a couple of things that are real barriers, like if we premiere a show on Netflix, it typically doesn't trigger international output deals from other studios. So when they look at selling a first window show to Netflix, that's a complexity that we have to overcome all the time. And what I would really encourage everybody to do is not fall into the traps that they did 25 years ago with the pay TV deals, where the deals themselves were long and rich, but they prevented everybody from turning the next corner. It's held back the VOD market. It certainly has held back the electronic sell-through market, the complexities of those pay television deals. So I think what will happen over the next couple of years, a little bit triggered by uncertainty and a little bit by our buying strength in the market, is that people will be more careful not to do deals that would lock us out for long periods of time, because hopefully they find that we're a good partner to work with, and that we enable their other business models rather than cannibalize them, and that we really do try to figure out a way for the service to be incremental revenue to all their other windows. And part of that, core to that, is the low price point, and we do season after television instead of day after television. We do movies in the pay TV window instead of in the DVD window or the VOD window, and in that way, one of our content partners, can skim the market, if you will. The most exciting development for me has been, we've always known going into this that there was a big appetite for US content all over the world, but I think what's been really exciting is discovering how big the audience can be for international content, including the US. So not just sending our stuff out, but pulling our stuff back. And so we've had great success with programming from Australia, from the UK, foreign language programs that had not otherwise been distributed outside of their domestic territories. So I think the connecting a global audience with global content is a huge opportunity. And so what they can expect is there's a lot of the great product either that they've heard about or that they've previously loved that originated in the U.S. Local programming from that they've come to love in Latin America. We have telenovela programming that we don't have out in the U.S. And so we want the content to be obviously very respectful of local culture, but it may not always reflect it in terms of the on-air programming and those kind of things. We're committed to the space, so it's not experimental, meaning whether or not we should be doing it, but we're certainly experimenting with what's the right level. So right now it's a rather small percentage of our total spending, but it's very high profile. So we've launched this week just in the U.S. with Borgia, and which is a French production of it, but English language production. We'll launch Lilyhammer in January, and in late 12 we'll have House of Cards debuting, and there'll be a couple of shows before or after that as well that are not announced yet. So it'll be a pretty rich slate of original programming. And we're going to take a little bit of a wait and see how we do at launching programming, how the consumers take to it using our existing tools, so I don't think that I want to get in and either try to replicate the network and studio model of creating brand contents or content brands, and I also don't want to do some half version of it. So I think what we want to do is be able to use the algorithms that we use today to launch programming to see if we can do it with original programming as well. Social network behavior is playing a more and more entwined role in consumers' lives. And it has the added benefit when you're talking about professional content is that people definitely identify themselves by who their favorite movie stars are, what their favorite movie is, what their favorite TV show is. So it's a way of, by telling people what you're watching, you're telling people who you are. And so much about social networking is self-expression. So it's either going to be a very important small part of the overall social network ecosystem, or it's going to be a real game changer. We're not sure yet. This is the third time I've been to MIPCOM, and what I find is that in a very condensed way, both in time and space, I'm able to get a handle on what's happening around the world. There's a lot, like I said, a lot of programming doesn't get on our radar in LA. So sometimes our first exposure to it is here, and particularly since we're fairly new to the international distribution space. So for us, it's a kind of a great way to do a 6 months worth of travel in 4 days, and meet with just everyone we've been talking to on the phone for a long time. So it's a great for FaceTime, and it's an incredibly convenient way to interface with the world when you're talking about both film and television programming.